In this video, I'm joined by André Arnaud de Calavon, Microsoft AI ERP MVP, managing partner at Next 365, and a familiar face in the Dynamics 365 community. I've personally admired André for a long time. More than a decade ago, when I was a beginner X++ developer, asking questions on the community forums, he was one of the people who would consistently show up with helpful answers. So I am beyond honored that he was willing to sit down with me. André has spent many years working with AX and Dynamics 365, helping customers solve complex challenges around implementations, security, and troubleshooting. He is also the creator of Dynamicspedia, a blog many people in the community know and trust when they're looking for practical Dynamics 365 guidance. I hope you'll enjoy our conversation.
We're at Dynamics Minds, André. It's amazing to sit down with you. You are really one of my longtime heroes. When I started doing AX 2012 and AX4 development, I always found you on the forums with a lot of good answers. Maybe could you just do a quick introduction, who you are and what are you doing at Dynamics Minds?
Okay, yeah. My name is André Arnaud de Calavon. I live and work in the Netherlands. Next 365 is a consulting company, a bit of boutique consulting company. We focus mainly on supporting clients in the area of Microsoft Dynamics 365 finance and operations, but we also just help clients related to Power Platform and AI. And at Dynamics Minds, I'm here just also as I was invited to be part of the programming committee, and this year I have several sessions also to present.
Okay, and I think the one that I'm very interested in is you're talking about Dynamics ERP and how that has evolved with AI. Could you maybe give us a summary of what you guys will cover, kind of what the what you think is interesting in the Dynamics ERP?
Yeah, actually, the session idea started last year here at Dynamics Minds. While Lars and me presented about capacity limitations which are expected. That takes a bit longer than we expected, but it's still accurate. You need to be aware of your capacity. But we had an idea just how Axapta has evolved to Dynamics 365 and then now infused with AI, it really became a real boy. So we named the session initially also, we had a project name for it, Pinocchio, because it became a real boy.
I love that.
So what we will do is just talk about a bit of the history, quickly history of AI, then just the history of, with a timeline of the Axapta versions, what changed so far, and then we will just talk about all the things which are just AI infused, a bit of the summary on the pages, the new immersive homepage, the sidecar, which can be extended also with Copilot Studio, and of course also the MCP server. And just as of 1 week, 2 weeks, we now also included some co-work content.
Yes.
With hopefully a cool demo. It will be a live demo, but it's a bit shaky if it will work or not, because the co-work frontier is still moving, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I like to be surprised this afternoon.
Yes, and I think what is also a challenge is even when it works, you don't know how long it will take because it makes the plan, right? And then it executes the plan, and so it could work, but it could work in 25 minutes. So it's risky to do a live demo.
Yes.
But
actually we broke it down into 3 pieces. As just first starting the prompt, then it will just start running. Then we know if it's working. Then we just cover some other topics. Then again, we'll check intermediate results, if it's still okay or if it might ask for an additional follow-up question. And then later it should have just the correct outcome if everything goes well. But that's you have 2 nice scenarios to talk about, and just good use cases also for co-work, including the ERP plugin.
I'm very excited to see the demos. One thing that I think is this, it's really a mindset shift, right? To think I'm going to ask the system something, then I'm going to give it some time to think. You know, in the past we would just go to the form and check a value, or we need to manually, figure out the answer to something. Now you would ask and then you would wait. Which way do you think is the experience for users going to change with ERP in the next couple of years?
I think it will move towards also a bit of headless ERP. In case indeed co-work can be a success, that you just prompt or speak to the app what should be done, but that's not only the ERP, but also in combination with other workloads like Outlook or PowerPoint, that you just combine information and it just collect data and it will generate something for you on your behalf. And in the meantime, it will also validate things before it can continue. And that might be just a huge shift of how we will work with transactional data. Because you are not going to log in and into the application to just go to a sales order form. You can just say like, hey, I got a speedy delivery for 10 Microsoft Microsoft Arc mice. Please create the order for me and send an email with just the earliest possible delivery date. That's also one of the prompts I will do this afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's interesting that we're kind of, for many years, we were focused on getting people into the system. And now we're kind of focused on getting them to use the system, but outside of the system, right? Through M365 and other.
Essentially, we'll try to make them more efficient instead of just logging, waiting, and just doing things manually. You can just prompt it, and then just while co-work is executing its plan, because it's all running in the cloud and as a background task, you're free to do other things and just directly check if the task is completed or if it requires some additional confirmation from your end.
Yeah, some input or something to,
Yes,
to
correct.
steer
Yes.
it. Man, I think that's also a big shift, that it can realize when you didn't give it all of the information, and then it can continue to ask you.
Sometimes it gives some results that you think like, oh, maybe I should have told it in a bit different way, then it could do it at once. But that's also in real life. If you ask someone to do something, then he will go away and start working on it, and for sure he will come back via Teams, for example, asking questions. And I don't think there's a change with co-work now.
Yes, yeah.
It will be similar.
Yeah, it's really a coworker.
Yeah, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering another thing. You're talking about this kind of clarifying and learning how to prompt it, learning how to give it enough context so it doesn't have to come back with too many questions. How are you seeing when you work with customers, or if you're playing with AI, how we're going to have to rethink training people in the future? Because I think it's amazing that we have all of these different ways to interact with the system, but of course, it doesn't feel it's natural to prompt, but it doesn't feel like the usual way to use the ERP. So we're going to have to think about training users and people differently. Is that something that you've run into? Learning how to prompt, but then also teaching other people to use it better.
It's interesting question. We don't know what exactly the future will bring and how it will be adopted, and it's just still fully new. I just played around with it for 2 weeks now, but I think the users might still need to be able to understand what is the process and how to do it manually in the system. And then when prompting, just some simple prompts, you already get amazing results. But sometimes you also have to wait for a long time. And when you review what it has done, maybe it can be done a bit more efficient by the coworker. But in that case, you can see how you can improve that by just creating a skill for it. So then next time, if you ask some questions similar, that it would know like, hey, I need to do this task and I'm allowed to directly maybe send an email or whatever. That's and there was another part of the question.
It's more like how we would change the way we train users in the future.
Train users, yes. Yeah. That would be really experimental to see how that will work out. And I don't think you need to just enable every single person to give the co-work, but some good example is in people who are not regularly using the system might just say what they would like to do, while others, just like accountants, probably they still go in the application, verify some journals, post them, print trial balances. I think that might be still a bit of just the usual task, but asking for an just a month-end report, that might be maybe done via cowork as well.
Yes, I
It's
think good.
yeah, it's still just. I think we all should learn what is possible and what is the most efficient way of achieving your daily tasks.
Yes, I think that's really a big shift for everyone. Thinking about what am I doing today? Can I do it different with AI? Can I do it better with AI? And can I go towards a future in which AI is really helping me? So wondering, are there any ways in your daily work or maybe with the content that you're creating as part of being an MVP that you're using AI that you think has really changed the way that you work?
I try to use AI every day just to see what can be done and how to adopt it. And just another example, just for one of my presentations, I wanted to have just an architectural overview of the business events. I provided the documentation page to Cowork, but also to Claude, and then asked the question: Can you create an architectural drawing out of this information? I got a pretty good result out of it, actually from Claude. And
Okay.
Cowork, it was a bit too extensive. Then it lost the focus on what was really important to add in the architectural image.
Yes,
Yes.
I think it's very interesting because Cowork is of course built on top of Anthropic
Right,
models.
yep.
So you would expect that it's the same thing. And I think there's a lot of things like this that are counterintuitive, and the only way to explore them is to learn, or to like you said, explore and to see what the difference is. And it also I think speaks to the fact that a year ago the big difference was between the models. So between if you would use GPT or if you would use Claude, you would see a difference. But now the difference is really between the harness. So Cowork is implemented differently than Claude, even though the models might be similar. And I think it's crazy how fast these things are moving. I'm wondering, so you're using AI every day. Do you have another strategy for keeping up with the changes? Because I guess changes in AI, but also changes in dynamics, it's just overwhelming and never ending, and there's always something new.
Actually, I think if everyone would be involved in using AI, learning everything by yourself, that or just exploring, that might be taking too much time. Maybe there should be really some pioneers exploring things, just like me trying things out, and then start blogging about it and a bit of the summary. Then instead of 10 hours of investigation, how should we do it? Maybe watch a video of 30 minutes on YouTube. That might be maybe better for the future, to that some people will just invest in, hey, what might be some best practices, and others can learn from that and adopt that kind of thoughts.
I really like that idea. So you would have I think the key here is to make peace that not everyone has to be like at the forefront and trying things. It's also impossible to do that for everything, but everyone can have something where they're maybe running fast and keeping up, and then learning from others, as they are working. And I think you as
and still consulting might be still a relevant job.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you bring that up because yesterday in the keynote, there was a mention that maybe consultants' jobs will be replaced by agents. How do you see that? Do you think consultants will still be needed, or will we have agents that do all of the implementation, all of the configuration, everything, and consultants can retire and
if you look at just the variations of different companies around the world, and then within the same branch, they work differently. So I think one single AI agent would probably not be able to know what is exactly required at a specific company. So I think still there might be an overview required to know what to do. And maybe indeed you want to use AI as much as possible, but then someone needs to do the harnessing again and just maybe changing some skills and the prompting to get the best results out of it.
Yes,
That's and just creating the skills. That's not something you would like to give to an end user, because also that is new to them.
yes, I think creating the skills is easy. Knowing that they're correct, knowing that they work, that's
where the experience comes again. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So you have the session on AI. What other sessions are you doing at the conference?
I completed one session yesterday about finance operations and Entra ID, but then just where they meet each other. What elements of Entra ID and finance operations do rely on each other. And there was not only the authentication, but also Entra ID groups, the app registrations for that. Then today I will talk about an upcoming feature which is currently in private preview, but we're able to talk about it. We got permission from Microsoft. That's a new supplier engagement app. That's interesting. Bit of replacing in the future the current vendor collaboration. Then I will also have a session about log it like it's hot. It's about database logging, how to use it and how to not use it, and maybe there are some other alternatives which might be also just interesting to look at and implement instead of just keeping everything in your database log. And then indeed also the session today, which we just talked about AI, how finance operations became just fully infused with AI capabilities. And tomorrow a session about clarification on Dynamics 365 finance and operations licensing.
Yes.
Just license enforcement is coming, and just there are still a lot of questions. I wrote a lot of blogs. I think a lot of people might be able to sort it out now, but still there are a lot of questions, confusion, and I would like to give some answers to that one as well. And the presentations today and tomorrow, that will be all co-presenters with some other experts.
Yes. I really like that you bring up the database logging, because I think another topic that's top of mind for customers is they're sort of on the start of their AI journey, and then they start thinking, do I have the data to even do the things that I do? And for a lot of processes, maybe you would want to have logging to be able to do some forecast or to have the trends. Is that also something that you're seeing, that the focus on data is shifting because of AI, or do you think it's just always been important?
For sure, at least data quality, that is one aspect which is important. But if you want to just use some historical data for AI to get some analysis out of it, then I don't think the database log itself is the perfect place for that, because it's stored within finance operations, consumes a lot of database storage. It can also impact your performance. And then maybe you can just have all changes synced with the Fabric in the one lake, and then use the one lake as the source for analysis.
Okay, I like that idea. I think it also, I think the way that the landscape is changing too is that we were really used to be experts in Dynamics, and now you have to broaden your technology stack, right? You also know Fabric, also know Azure, all of these things, and yeah, that's going to be a shift. Yeah.
And before it was just like, hey, here's a CD with Damgaard Accepta, install it, and just implement it. But now indeed you need to look at every aspect, and just we just came out of a session from Gerard Klangsneek where he just talked about finance operations and what's upcoming, and he showed one slide with just the relevant Microsoft products and technology to be used, and that is almost everything. So it's all connected now.
Yes, yeah. I think now people are really, like you said, the vertical experts, like being an expert in an industry makes more sense, because it's not possible to be an expert in a product. There's too many products, and there's yeah, too many different ways that you can link up the system. I wanted to ask you, is there anything else that you wanted to share, or a topic that you wanted to talk about?
Actually, yeah, we talked about just the database, the logging, but just what is just really important for all clients is that they will be aware of their database usage, the current storage entitlements and what they use today. There will be an enforcement upcoming, probably not this year yet, but it will come just like any other application which is now running also on the Power Platform and Dataverse. If you look at then just the current clients, I looked at several of them already just doing security reviews, but also then I looked at storage because that will be a component of it as well. And the majority of the customers are just over-utilizing their database space. And there are some easy fixes like just enabling cleanup jobs, think of archive jobs, but also just limit the database logging. And there might be some other things to investigate as well to ensure that you keep your just database size nimble, smaller, and don't pay that much in addition for your storage.
Yes, I think a thing that I've learned is that you have to be very intentional about it, right? Like you said, there's all these things that you have to do, but you have to do them, right? And I don't know, do you have any other advice for customers that want to go into storage more or like understand their storage, kind of where is a good point to start?
The first point is go to the Power Platform Admin Center, to the licensing part, and then finance operations. There is that's not licensing finance operations, but the usage data. There's a report about what table consumes the most space in the finance operations databases. It's not only the AX database, but also management reporter. And then just look at the highest consumed tables and see what you can clean up or what is causing that high number, and see if you can do some mitigations. And for sure, an easy fix would be just if you do a copy from your production environment to non-production. There's now also the option to use transaction-less copy, that you have just clean, smaller test environments. But one downside of that one is that it really cleans all transactions, and the majority of customers are now also asking, well, maybe I would like to have 3 till 6 months of data.
Yes.
Then we can just continue directly with some testing.
Yes, I think it's once you start thinking about how much it costs to have data, like the transaction-less copy, you make a lot of sense because you're not copying production data, right? You're copying it for testing, and you need to ask yourself, how much is it worth for me to pay for the storage to have the testing? So I think, yeah, good advice to make sure that the test environments are smaller.
We're here at Dynamics Minds, an amazing location, amazing weather again this year. We have just a lot of great sessions thanks to the programming committee. And I think it would be worthwhile for others who are not able to attend this year to see if they might be able to get here next year, because it's really one of the best events I've ever been.
Yes, I agree. And I have to say thank you for you, because you are part of the committee. So thank you so much for organizing this, for making sure that there's such great sessions. And I agree. This is an amazing conference. Everyone should come.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, André.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with André. You could connect with him on LinkedIn, read his blog Dynamicspedia, find him in the Dynamics 365 community forum, and learn more about his work at Next 365. Links for all of these are below.